The final part of the TOEIC reading test has two sections. You'll read a short text and then answer a few questions about it. Then you'll read two texts and you'll answer questions about them. Let's take a closer look. This part of the test is fairly straightforward, but before we look at a text similar to one that you'll see on test day, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Now, the main thing here is to quickly read the text first, understand what the purpose of the text is, and think about who wrote it, and who would read it, and why. The better you understand these ideas, the easier it will be to find the answers. Now, the next thing you want to do is read the questions and the answer options. So here are two questions like the ones you'll see on test day. Be careful to make sure you understand what kind of information the question is looking for and what the answers are suggesting. Looking at question 1, I can see that the question is asking why he is selling the desk. What is the reason? Then I can look at the answer. The options are pretty straightforward. A new desk, a smaller house, not use it often, and not want to repair. Pro tip, pay close attention to the negative and positive nature of the answers. Words like no, not, or doesn't can carry important meaning. Don't just look for keywords. This question is testing your ability to understand how ideas in the text are connected. Now, in this case, we can see that all the ideas are kind of mentioned. He mentions repair, but not that he doesn't want to do it. So D is out. He doesn't mention a new desk, although he probably will buy one. But he doesn't mention this, or that it's the reason why. So A is out. He doesn't mention C, so that's out as well. Finally, in the text, he mentions that he'll have a new home and that he's downsizing, which means moving to a smaller home. So B is clearly the answer. We will choose B. So you can eliminate answers or find the correct answer. If you find the correct answer quickly, it may be worth quickly checking the other options just in case. Let's look at the second question. This question is testing your deeper knowledge of collocations. What does this phrase mean? So you need to know two things. What does firm mean? And what does it mean here? Hopefully you know that firm means solid or hard. But then what does it mean for the price to be hard? Well, with hard, I think we can eliminate A and B. Cheaper than 200 seems strange for a hard price. And B, well, there's no reason to think that either. C and D, well again, hard seems to imply it will not change, so he won't take less than $200. Now, if you found that question tricky, keep in mind that with stronger reading and listening habits, you're going to be more familiar with expressions like this. Even if you've never heard the word in this situation, you'll probably be able to figure it out more easily than you think. As I mentioned before in other lessons, the more you read and listen in English, the easier any English test is going to be. Next, let's take a look at the multi-text part of the test. This part of the test extends from the previous part, but in this part, you'll read 2 short texts, and then you'll answer 5 questions. Just as in the single text part, you'll read the 2 texts first, and then answer the questions. Let's have a look at what you're going to see on test day. So go ahead and read the text. Don't try to memorize everything. Focus on the main purpose of the text, and think about what details support your idea of the main purpose. Feel free to pause the video and take 60 seconds to read. Okay, Let's have a look at the main purpose of the text and think about how we relate the details to that main purpose. Now keep in mind, if you read the text and didn't get any ideas, that's fine. It just means you need to practice. After you practice a few times, this will get easier. So the purpose of this text is to tell people about an opportunity to lease space in a renovated building. So a renovated building is going to be old but improved. This building received $15 million in renovation. It's now a premium complex. It has a range of spaces to rent, good lighting and nice views, as well as showers. Keep in mind, all these details support the main idea. The text is looking for renters. If we keep reading, we see it is close to a highway. Then there is a contact at the bottom. Perfect. So note what I did. First, I determined the purpose, and then I looked for details that support the purpose. Next, we're going to look at the second text. This text will be connected somehow to the first. As you practice, you'll start to be able to anticipate the kind of text that comes next. So here's the second text. Again, feel free to pause and take 30 seconds to read it. So, it seems that Ben Kingsley has recently visited the building and does not want to rent there. And that's the purpose of the text. He's letting Anna know that he is not going to rent, and he gives the reason. It's financial. He also gives some advice. He says the offices are too far from the city for the high price they are asking, and he suggests lowering them. Great. Keep in mind, getting an idea of the purpose of the text and how details support that will help you be able to go back to the text faster when you read the questions. Before we look at the questions, keep in mind these three things. First, read the question and the answer options. Second, go to the text where the answer is. Third, find the answer. Now, it's possible that you'll read the answer options and you'll know the right answer immediately, and that's great. A good habit would be, however, to check anyway. So that's what we're going to do. So next, I want you to read the question and the answer options. Think about which text has the answer, and then I'll take you to the right text. Then we'll look for the right answer together. Let's start with question 1. So with question 1, you should instantly know that the answer is in text 2. Why does Mr. Kingsley decide not to lease their offices? Some of you might even remember why. Now, 2 of these answers are just clearly wrong. He doesn't mention D, and C is just not true. The opposite is true. There is access to a motorway. So it's either A or B. Let's take a look at the text and question together. So we can see here, he mentions an issue about the distance, but he says that the main reason for not leasing the building is financial. This is common. There are usually 2 answers that are either not mentioned or the opposite. Then there are 2 options, one of which looks like it might be the correct answer. Let's have a look at question 2. How long was the office building vacant before the redevelopment? Okay, so this is definitely the first text. Do you remember the answer? I think I know what it might be, but let's look. I think I remember where the answer is. Here's the text. How long was it vacant? Okay, so strong vocab will help here. For 9 years, the building was left to decay. Great, so the answer is D, 9 years. They actually don't even mention any of the other answers. So, left to decay is a pretty unusual expression, but that's fine. Make a note of it in your vocabulary notebook and save it for later. Let's take a look at number 3. What feature is included in all bathrooms? I remember the answer. Do you? Let's have a look. There it is. Showers. They mentioned natural light in the building, but not in the bathrooms. 2 more questions. I'm going to put up the questions and the text. You can have a look yourself. Here's question 4 and the text. I'll give you a few seconds to pause and try to answer them yourself. Here's the text, but the answer isn't there. So here's the second text. Pause and give it a go. And here's question 5. Pause and give it a go. How'd you go? Let's have a look. So for question 4, I needed a bit more time. I quickly scanned the first text, but the answer isn't there. So I looked at text 2. 35 kilometers. For the final question, the answer is high ceilings, right here. Keep in mind that there may be heaters and bathrooms in the office, but they didn't mention it in the text. So that's it. You're done. Remember that practice makes perfect. Be sure to practice using top quality material like the material we have available at e2testprep.com. And you'll be a master of the reading test in no time.